University. It's a bastion of higher learning, a place where one goes to further their understanding of the world, expand their horizons, and improve their chances of gainful employment. Well, that's university in the real world. In the movies, university is where you go to drink beer, get laid, and fight the powers that be. Is Port Chester University the place to be? Find out as we attempt to prove to you that PCU is not that bad. Welcome, one and all, to It's Not That Bad, the podcast that looks for A grades in B movies. Now, every now and then a movie comes along and you take a look at the tomatometer and realize, oh my goodness, this actually qualifies. Giddy up, it's time to go. This is that movie because we are talking 1994's PCU. And here to gallop down the road for this one here is my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm great. And thank you for finally letting us do this movie. I have been asking for the past, year?
Over a year.
The past 50 episodes at least?
65.
Well.
And plus.
But since I've been on board, I have been begging for us to cover this movie. And here we are today.
Right. Now, I just wonder if we have to be politically correct as we're discussing this film.
Oh, hells no. Let's protest it all.
Should I refer to you as my rightfully, wedded person?
Well, the cool thing is, I hate everybody equally, so there's really nothing to protest.
We're not gonna protest.
I've had a bad day.
We're not gonna protest.
Oh, we're here to protest. I am protesting the critics and their stinking review on this movie.
Great. Critics be damned. Critics be damned. But before we go down Port Chester University Road to discuss PCU, we have to take this 1994 college-based comedy and trailerize it. Imagine a world where people are united by that which they hate, are angry at everything, and will not be silenced in their outrage. A world that has forgotten how to have fun and ignore the problems of the outside world. Step back to 1994 for a glimpse of what 2023 would be like in PCU. Chris Young plays Tom, a preppy pre-frosh with a 50s sensibility of what university would be like in the 90s by clearly ignoring every madcap university film that came out in the 80s. Showing him the ropes is Jeremy Piven, who ditches him at the first possible chance, leaving him to suffer alone in the restrictive chaos that is a self-contained world of political correctness, thereby properly preparing him for real-life university. But can they pull off the rager of all ragers to raise enough money to save their dorm? That puts this a dance battle away from Electric Boogaloo. It's PCU, rated PG-13, for Pray for Gutter.
Although, was it not meant to be an R-rated movie?
It's funny you mention that. There apparently, according to the director, there is actually an R-rated cut of this film, but the studio would not let that out the door.
I want to see it.
He has acknowledged this apparently in the DVD commentary of this film and said it exists. It will probably never see the light of day.
Well, considering I was reading that they sat on releasing the DVD for
like a year, yeah.
A year.
Which I don't know. I don't know. But hashtag release the Bachner cut.
So with that said, was it actually released in 94 yet?
It was actually released in 1994.
In 93. Okay.
No, it was released in 1994. Although if we can now get hashtag release the Bachner cut, going, I'm all for it.
Let's do it.
Yes, make it happen. Jeremy Piven can make this happen, which, by the way, coolest thing, we put this out on Twitter that we were recording tonight, and Jeremy Piven liked it. But now comes the Draws conundrum here. because Draws himself liked the tweet that we were recording the show. Therefore, he liked the tweet of the film that he was in. Is that akin to wearing the t-shirt of the band you're going to see?
Oh, don't be that guy.
Is Jeremy Piven that guy?
Jeremy, don't be that guy.
I know. I'm going to let it slide.
And hi, Jeremy. Big fan. Love your movies.
Right. We're going to let that one slide on this one here. But this film stars Jeremy Piven, Jon Favreau, Megan Ward, David Spade, Jessica Walter, Alex I'm hoping I pronounce this right. It's spelled desert, but there's an accent aigu in the name. So I think it's Desert. I'm not quite sure. I apologize if I screwed it up. And Chris Young. However, there is an almost starring in this film. By the way, this film is now almost 30 years old. So we're going to spoil the out of it. You had your chance, but go watch it anyways. In the film, the band that plays the party at the end of the film is George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars, Parliament Funkadelic, but it wasn't supposed to be. It was originally scripted to be Nirvana.
Could you picture Smells Like Teen Spirit being played at the house party?
Right?
Wow.
But apparently Nirvana was too expensive. I will say, though, that if they had Nirvana as the band, the pit's damage bill would be way higher than $7,000. But apparently they also considered the Goo Goo Dolls to be the band. And apparently they were like, no one's going to recognize them. No one's going to know who the hell they are. I think they chose wisely with Parliament Funkadelic. In the role of Thomas, played by Chris Young, apparently reading for the role before the film it was casted, was Steve Zahn. And
I'm all for that. I would have loved to have seen that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if we get the Steve Zahn from That Thing You Do, then he's kind of perfect for that. I mean, again, this is nothing against Chris Young, but Steve Zahn would have been very interesting in that role, especially if he brings don't bring Sahara Steve Zahn, bring That Thing You Do Steve Zahn.
You know what? Yes. However, I think I would have liked to have seen Steve Zahn in a different role in that movie, whether it's, the kid on the couch or one of the bandmates, like one of the stoners. Oh my God.
Could you picture Steve Zahn as a member of the Balls and Shaft? Also, I got to say Balls and Shaft on a podcast and not have to actually censor it. So I'm winner right here. Apparently for the role of Samantha, the ex-girlfriend of Draws, who joined the Womanists, which is actually played by Sarah Trigger, Ashley Judd read for that role. But they decided to go with Sarah Trigger because I guess the director had worked with her before. I actually don't mind Ashley Judd in the role of Katie as opposed to Samantha, but it would be interesting. I could easily see Ashley Judd fit into this. Now, as Draws, the Jeremy Piven role, apparently the role almost went to Adam Sandler.
No.
But then Sandler got offered the role and was cast into Airheads, and we got Jeremy Piven in PCU.
All worked out as it should.
I was supposed to say, I'm not going to lie. If Adam Sandler is in this role, this movie sucks.
Okay, that's not fair.
No, I'm putting it out there. Jeremy Piven brought such a good sarcasm to this role, like such a character to Draws. I don't know if Adam Sandler could have pulled that off.
Right. You know what? And the sarcasm, yet the charm factor. Jeremy Piven had that perfect combination of, like, you just don't know. You don't, because he's so good at manipulating the situation to his benefit that, is it charm? Is it sarcasm? Is it wit? Is it like...
It can be all of the above.
It is all of the above.
They are not mutually exclusive. Now,
I'll take D, all of the above on the exam.
Now, if you had put Adam Sandler in the role of Pigman, the guy who was doing his thesis on the Hackman, the Hackman Cain theory, and just sitting there watching TV, Sandler would have killed that role, but...
I don't know. I think Sandler would have maybe been intriguing as a protester, maybe.
But the interesting thing, too, and I have to say this, if Sandler takes this role, then Airhead suffers.
Oh, yeah, no. And again, all was as it should have been in the 90s.
Right?
Right? Because Airheads needed to be... I laugh because there's a meme out there that has a picture of the three guys from Airheads, and it's like, if you can't name this band, we can't be friends. And I absolutely love that. I share it every time it comes across my feed because, yeah.
Now, this film apparently is the cinematic directorial debut of one Hart Bochner, who would then go on to direct High School High starring John Lovitz. Apparently, there's a 1992 production that he directed called The Buzz. It also had John Lovitz, but I don't think it's seen the light of day. There's no information on it. There's just a title, and literally, even if you go to John Lovitz's Wikipedia, it'll list The Buzz, role unknown. So it might be one of those things where they did something, it's never seen the light of day. But this would be the cinematic theatrical release debut of Hart Bochner in the director's chair. He's acted before. He's actually in the 1984 Supergirl film that really did not do all that well, but this is his directorial debut. In 2011, the Huffington Post put in an article that listed this in the top 30 of all-time college movies, and I can't disagree with that at all. Like, let's be honest, college romp movies are a genre unto themselves, and this does stand up quite well.
Mm-hmm. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Like, I remember watching this and thinking, well, this is it. This is like higher learning. This is how it is.
If this is how you look at higher learning, there are problems right there. Although
is it that far off?
We've been to college, and to quote Jeremy Piven in this, beer is your friend, you drink a lot of it. And yes, we did. Not gonna lie. This film, however, didn't do too well at the box office. It has an approximate budget of $8 million, and according to IMDb, a worldwide gross of $4.3 million. When it debuted on the April 29th, 1994 weekend, according to thenumbers.com, this film debuted at number 6 with only $2.129 million. The number one film that week was No Escape, which would debut at just under $5 million. With Honors, another college film, also debuted at number 1. You So Crazy debuted at number 5, and then the other two movies in the top 5 were Four Weddings and a Funeral at number 3 and Bad Girls at number 4. I'm not surprised that PCU didn't debut in the top 3. I am surprised it didn't debut a little bit higher than 6. Like, is it what? And the fact that it's PG-13 means it's a bit of a wider audience. So I'm just curious why people didn't go to the theaters for this.
I don't know. Maybe it was like if it was a specific release, like during Frosh Week near every, campus, that might have, I don't know, improved its chances.
I mean, I don't remember With Honors that well, but I'm damn skippy PCU is a much better film. But I'm going to put it out there. But however, the critics, the audience loves this movie. Okay.
And how could you not?
Right.
It's a great movie.
But over at Metacritic, it has a Metascore of 42. And over on Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a 75% audience score. And I'm even thinking that's low at 75%. But the critic score, the tomatometer, is 44%. So I'm actually even more surprised that the Metacritic score is even lower than the tomatometer. So it's time to find out what the heck the critics got wrong about this. Let's get to the breakdown here. We have to start right at the top. Jeremy Piven as Draws. We've already decided that he's better than Adam Sandler in this role, but how was Draws for you?
Oh my God. Love. Just in a word, love. Like, again, he just had such charisma and such charm. And, he's like he's a fixture at that college, been there for 7 years, probably took a 2-year program, in phys ed. No, phys ed, get the out of here.
Right.
However, just again, a fixture. And you could tell that, this college, this dorm, the pit is his life.
Yeah.
There is no life outside. The thought of getting jobs was
not happening.
Just not in the
happening.
cards. But again, you could just tell, he was a fixture. He knew the inner workings of the the school principal or president, actually, the president of the school.
He knew how to get around things. He knew how to work the system. And there's the thing. Let's take a look at Draws as a character. Okay, 7 years at university and going. He's got theses in his, I said theses, not feces. He's got theses, in his closet ready to hand out to any freshmen or any students that need them. So, I mean, the fact that he has all of these shows that Draws is not a dumb person.
Not to mention the closet full of, alcohol and other
assorted naughty paraphernalia.
Other drugs of choice.
But the thing is, like I said, he's not an idiot. Draws is the king of his domain. He rules with a definitely not an iron fist. He is basically the leader of the pack. Why would Draws want to leave this situation, right? He's got it made. He's with people that he enjoys. He's figured out how to game the system and keep going. Like Draws has got it going on, but why would you want to leave that? I need to draw a comparison though, because a lot of these university films and these college films, they do kind of borrow from each other. And now the movie I'm going to reference is not necessarily a college film, but it is definitely a school film. Draws in this, and the way Jeremy Piven plays him, reminds me a lot of Dean Cameron's role as Dave Marshak in Ski School. Ski School is one of those, again, just straight up, goofball, damn the man kind of comedies. This happens to be a ski school instead of an actual school. But Marshak in that is just so much fun and so goofy and so quotable. If you've ever watched Ski School, already you're probably in your mind going, it's not how far you go, it's how go you far. Okay? Draws in this is infinitely quotable. Absolutely. The number of memes that are out there of things that Draws says. He's written well, and Jeremy Piven played him so well, made him so iconic. So don't let Adam Sandler into this role. It's Jeremy Piven all the way. Chris Young, who played Tom the Prefrosh, your thoughts on him?
All I can think is thank God he was matched up with Draws and not David Spade.
Oh God, no, not David Spade.
He definitely fell into the right crowd because it could have gone. I think with his expectation of what college was to be, and then seeing the prep school house, it could have been tragic. It could have had a very different ending, and thank God that it went the way it did.
Now, I mean, I need to put a disclaimer out here. So Gary and I, we went to college. We went to a city college, not a university. There were no frats. There was no groups like that. We just went to college, studied broadcasting.
But we did have a party house.
Oh, we had a party house. There's no question about that. But so the whole concept of frats and wearing the suits and the whole hazing rituals and all that, like that life doesn't exist at college. At university, it does. At least so we've learned from movies. Is it me, though? Or did Chris Young feel like a young Andrew McCarthy in this?
You know what? I think I absolutely loved the turnaround. In 48 hours, he went from...
Was it 48? I thought it was like 24.
No, it was, it was written that it happened over a span of 2 days. Yeah.
Okay.
However, he went from the suit to like, I think he was wearing what, like
Whatever,
t-shirt and khakis at the when he's
whatever
waiting
he
for the
had
bus.
on left. Yes.
Yeah.
I will say that Chris Young does bring a really good naivete to him. And the thing is, Tom was never meant to be, I think, innocent, right? He's not coming in here as one of the preps. He's not a balls and shaft man. I can't believe I said that phrase out loud, but here we are. He's not the David Spade crew. Preppy, yes, but not stuck up, not kind of thing. The fact that while he's being shown where Draws' room is, in the first chance he gets, he checks out Katie's butt. Like, it just proves that Tom is not, he will fit into the pit.
I just love that he relished pissing everybody off.
Mm-hmm. Like, by the end of it, yeah.
He really owned that. Like, he was like equal opportunity, hating, not that he hated anyone. He was quite friendly, just kept getting himself into trouble and was hated by all equally. So
I wonder if this qualifies though as a cliche. Check out a cute girl's butt. Sorry, more to the point, get caught checking out a cute girl's butt in a movie and you'll probably end up together by the end of the film. Is that a Hollywood cliche? I'm starting to think it might be.
Well, it worked in, I'm thinking
I'm sure
Leslie Nielsen in that spy movie.
Oh yeah, no, in yes, The Naked Gun.
The Naked Gun.
Yeah,
that's
check out Priscilla Presley's butt. You get to be with her. Yeah.
Yep.
Here, check out Katie's butt. They got together. I'm starting to think they need Attack of the Hollywood Cliches Part 2. But I think he was good in this. And the fact that, the first question he actually asked Draws is like, do you guys stay in the houses with women? Like, you know where Tom's head is at. So, which is probably why Draws didn't just kick him out on his butt, despite the fact that he's wearing like a very preppy suit. So it's actually fairly well written there. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the creator of The Mandalorian and The Man Who Brought Us Iron Man as Gutter.
Love. Oh my God, I love Gutter.
How is Jon Favreau in this role for you?
Oh, in case you can't tell the excitement. Okay, first of all, yeah. Wow. I love the hair. I love the hair. I would love to see a reprisal of that hairdo one day. Just, I don't know. Write it into Marvel somehow.
Happy Hogan gets dreads?
Bring it back. Yep. Bring it back. But oh my God, he was so, just so great at being so incredibly just lost.
Right?
Whether it's stoned or whether it's just not altogether there. But oh my God, and very understated. It's not like he didn't have a whole lot of lines, or
he didn't need them though.
He was in a lot of the movie, but he didn't have a lot of speaking role, I found. But it wasn't necessary. It wasn't needed. It was just his presence in the scene made it funny. He made this movie.
The lost in thought look that he was able to pull off in this spoke volumes. It's an understated role for sure, but it was so much fun.
It helps that he has such a youthful, childlike face that just went with.
Did you just call Jon Favreau a baby face?
He is kind of a baby face
in this
but
movie. In this movie,
he had this punk, I don't know, punk. I don't know, pro athlete kind of look going. I don't know.
You know that if Gutter's in the middle of the mosh pit, he's standing right in the middle as the wall of death closes around him.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly it.
He's the guy who's going to come out with his shirt torn to shreds in his hands going, God damn, that was a good pit.
But don't be that guy. Don't wear the shirt of the band that you're going to see.
Yes. Although that being said, I think that if Gutter is in the pit, and I'm not talking about the pit in the movie. I'm talking about like an actual concert pit. If Gutter's in a pit, Jon Favreau plays him in the way that you know that if someone falls down in the pit, Gutter's going to like actually help them up.
Do you know what made me sad for him though?
Pit rules, but yes.
He never made it to that show.
No, but the show came to him. Oh no, he never made it to the Merkin show because he wasn't going to go see George Clinton. He was going to go see the Merkins.
Exactly, but he never made it there.
Yeah.
Also never made it to the beer store in time. But
I think that's more tragic.
Oh my God, the like fever dream or whatever that was so funny.
I didn't exhale.
Oh my! I love this movie. In case you can't tell,
which for the record, that by the way, if you're watching PCU for the first time in 2023, you almost have to go back and study up on the history of Clinton as president to actually get that joke. There are some things in here that are a little dated. But before we get on to the cast, I want to bring this up though, because we kind of joked about it at the beginning of the show. This film, in its depiction of political correctness in the extreme, kind of feels a little relevant these days.
Yeah, it's amazing how
like you watch it and go, oh dear God, we're living that right now. Like I'm not saying it's that bad and that all we need is a good rager to end things. But this script is smart. The script is very, very smart.
It was smart and ahead of its time. Yet, was it ahead of its time, or is it just that we have learned nothing and keep repeating history over and over again?
Once again, I think both answers are correct. They are not mutually exclusive. This falls into Simpsons smart territory. Moving on, though, to Alex Desert, who played Mulaney, who was Draws's sidekick with the dreads, and always kept on going around with them, helping throw the meat at everybody. Also, by the way, if you're not familiar with Alex Desert's work, before this, he was in the Flash TV series. This is actually his film debut. I personally know him best as the voice of Nick Fury in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, which means, yes, we have Happy Hogan and the man who brought us Iron Man, and then we have the voice of Nick Fury in this. It's like our own little PCU Avengers, and I'm kind of all here for it. But how was Alex Desert as Mulaney for you?
Oh, he was great. He was like such a perfect balance to Draws. Like, it's just, he's so great. Like, he just kind of is so cool. And, again, he doesn't put a whole lot of effort into the role, but it's so natural.
Oh, absolutely.
He's so natural.
And it's just Draws. I think there are a few characters in this movie that actually humanize Draws. And that's the thing. Draws is not just a straight up like John Belushi type maniac, like an Animal House. He's smart.
Oh, he's smart. Yeah,
he is. And, Mulaney and then Samantha as well. We'll get to her in a little bit. But they humanize Draws. They do. They make him more, he's now a three-dimensional character. He's not just, a cliched party goer. There's humanity in him.
You tend to have to wonder, and this definitely sits on my mind, is if Draws has been there for 7 years, who have been the members of his crew previous? Mm-hmm. And furthermore, you just know that the next semester or next school year that
like Mulaney and some of the others are going to have. That's going to be interesting too. Like, I'm not going to lie, as we're sitting here talking about this, if they wanted to make a PCU 2 and Draws is still at the university, that would be phenomenal. Like, but literally be like the old man on campus.
I want to see him as the campus president.
No.
Oh,
that's like going like down
vote for Draws.
That's going like down Saved by the Bell rules, where like, yeah, everyone's graduated, everyone's adults now, and some of them came back to Bayside High to be teachers.
Well, but it's like I said, I mean, no disrespect to Jeremy Piven, but he looked old enough to have been one of the professors.
Either that or Draws tries to open up his own school to teach students how to get around the university system.
I don't know.
Something. Either way, we need a PCU too. Megan Ward, who played Katie, who was the meet cute for Tom, and had her butt looked at, which basically proved that the two of them were going to get together. How was Megan Ward for you?
She was great. I mean, she was definitely, you just knew from the scene where they met, it was like, yeah, they're going to wind up together. Yeah, you know what? I think she was an excellent, almost kind of like kept, I don't know, the house in check or kept Draws in check.
You think she was the den mother?
I think so.
Even though she's a freshman.
Yeah, but you know what? She was just so, I don't know, like she was a very strong female character.
Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that they didn't play her as just a dumb, straight sex symbol, right? She was cute. She probably was the den mother quite a bit. The fact that, she was, helping to start the band at the place. Like, there's a lot to Katie, but I also don't think that they explored her character enough. But to the same token as well, and it's the same thing with Mulaney, right? Mulaney's character is great, but they didn't really give him too much backstory or too much to do except for be there and hang out with Draws.
But I thought it was fine. You really didn't need much more.
And that's what I'm getting at. Like, Katie was there to be the meet cute for Tom and to kind of, be there in the film, but they didn't give her too much. But if you have all these side characters and these elaborate backstories to them, you take away from the dual storyline between Draws trying to set up this party at the same time trying to get Samantha back, and then Tom literally running for his life.
But did you notice, though, this had to have happened over a weekend because not a single, class was taking place at all.
No, they were too busy protesting.
Yeah.
Moving on, Sarah Trigger, who played Samantha, this is Draws' ex, one of the womenists. How was she for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously the character was written in a certain way that, they had a past relationship, and then I guess somehow she got involved with the womenists. But it was almost kind of like she didn't seem to want to be there. And yet, I don't know, she you just knew that, I don't know, she maybe wanted to still be with Draws or give him another chance. But I don't know, it was kind of like, to me, it just felt somewhere awkwardly in between.
It felt like there were a lot of students at the school who were trying to find a place where they fit in, and Draws was just going to be there and let the world fit in around him. And it's one of those things where that's actually a strength to Draws' character, in that, he doesn't need to conform to everyone else in every other group in order to belong. He's just going to be and let the belonging happen around him. And I think by joining the Womanists, Samantha all of a sudden sees from the outside why she was actually with Draws in the first place, and that he is fun and he's not judgmental, even though he judges every other group. But I do like the fact that their relationship and her presence in this movie humanizes Draws. Also, she was giving off some severe Leah Thompson vibes. Is it me? Were you getting Leah Thompson from Howard the Duck type vibes?
Possibly. I mean, definitely I don't know. She was great, but I think she could have been a little less in between and a little bit more steadfast in what she wanted and not what other people wanted for her.
But I think she's also the catalyst for the womanists kind of loosening up and actually enjoying the party.
100%.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you needed those breaks in those groups, right? You had Moonbeam, who was one of basically the lead hippie chick, and all of a sudden deciding that no, she's going to have a good time. The fact that she's there at the party, on someone's shoulders and drinking a beer and whatnot, it's true. All people needed to do was allow themselves to have a good time and stop worrying and complaining about things, and all of a sudden you do get to have fun. But now we got to go to the other side of the campus here. David Spade as Rand McPherson. How was David Spade for you?
It was a classic David Spade role. In fact, when we were talking about David Spade in, I have gone completely blank, but when we talked about David Spade in Eight Heads
in a duffel bag, yeah.
And I said that he was less David Spade than, he wasn't spading all over the place.
So this is the David Spade you wanted.
This is the quintessential David Spade role.
I don't know if there's another actor out there who can go the and have it be as effective as David Spade. He's just so wrong in this. Like the fact that his height is seemingly a bone of contention as he stands around everyone else. The fact that he has to step up on a stair. The fact that there's this weird vibe between him and the president of the school that you're not quite sure what his vibe is on that. Like,
well, he was the rat. Like he had his place at the school, and yet I have to wonder, like, why their house was where it was, or
well, it's the fact that frats were disbanded and Balls and Shaft was very much a frat, so they kind of had to go underground. So they got kicked out of the house because it was a quote unquote frat house. But once it became the Pit, right, it was one of the things where like, well, we're not a frat, we're not organized at all, right? So it became a dorm instead of a frat, and that's why Balls and Shaft had to go underground. And then Jessica Walter as President Garcia Thompson. How is the voice of Mallory Archer for you?
I mean, she was definitely perfect in the role, and seeing her literally fall, her demise was so beautiful.
Yeah. This is...
But she played it so well.
Oh, yes. By the way, the late Jessica Walter, because she did pass away. But here's the thing. Every college or university type film needs this kind of character. And the more... It's not that she's evil. She's not evil. But she's scheming and conniving and elitist.
Well, okay. But to have the complaint forms, the way that, she was collecting them... I don't know. That was clearly, there was intent there to drive the Pit out of operation, out of existence.
She kind of reminds me a little bit of, and I'm kind of drawing another comparison here, the movie Major League, where they're trying, the Cleveland Indians are trying to make their way to the World Series, and the owner basically wants them to suck that season, so she's basically taking away everything from them so they don't do well, but they play well, and they're playing well despite her, kind of thing. This is kind of that role, and I think Jessica Walter played it phenomenally.
Very well.
Plus, I can't hear that voice and not hear Mallory Archer. This film has such a good soundtrack. Like, obviously, you've got Parliament Funkadelic, got George Clinton on there, but there's some great songs on this. But the score, as done by Steve Vai, the 7-string guitar virtuoso, did it feel a touch much when it was just the score and not the songs?
I don't know. I mean, like the opening track was very good, I found. Really?
Because the opening track for me kind of took me out of it. And then there were the times when, because let's be honest, Steve Vai is a phenomenal guitarist, like otherworldly guitarist. And when Tom is literally running for his life, that's when a fast Steve Vai noodling guitar riff works perfectly. The opening track, maybe not so much. But there were times when I felt that the score might have been a touch much, but I think the soundtrack overall is very good. So the fact that the Huffington Post put this in the top, list of college, all-time college and university movies, and there are a lot of comparables here. I think the biggest thing, though, is that this is a PG-13 film, and in watching it, I'm sitting there going, well, "There's nothing I would be shocked if the kids caught, while we were watching it. Like, it's not like there's any nudity except for like, naked butt guy at the party kind of thing. That's about it. Do you think the lack of an R rating actually hurt this film, or is it fine as a PG-13?
No, you know what? I think it's absolutely fine as a PG-13, and I mean, yeah, it's the kind of movie that I would sit down with the boys, maybe not, the younger one, but as our older one goes through high school and gets more towards, higher learning.
She laughs knowing that she has a college degree of higher learning, quote unquote.
Yeah. But you know what? It's a fun movie. It's literally one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have it on what, VHS?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, yeah.
We are that old.
We are VHS tapes old, and we still have them. But I mean, yeah, obviously you can draw comparisons to like movies like Revenge of the Nerds, and I mentioned Ski School, and there's the cliquishness of Heathers, and
One Crazy Summer,
and Grease, and there's other movies that you can easily point out. But there's one movie that kind of stands out as a comparable, and it actually came out the year after this film came out, and we've already covered it. Waiting ... with Ryan Reynolds. But okay, hear me out. Hear me out on this one. Right? If we are drawing comparables, okay, and this is just to compare and contrast, okay? The role of Ryan Reynolds in Waiting is equivalent to Draws. I'm not like comparing performances here. I'm just saying like the characters and their role in the film.
No, Jeremy Piven was so much better.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I'm not comparing performances. I'm just comparing the role that the character plays in the story of the film. Okay. Tom in this film is comparable to Mitch in Waiting. In that you've got the new guy, he's being shown the ropes, and everything else is happening around him until he snaps and loses it and joins the party. Okay? You've got Anna Faris in Waiting, who is the ex of Ryan Reynolds. You've got Samantha in this film, who is the ex of Draws. You've got the crazy guy in Gutter in this one. You could compare him to the chef in Waiting, the guy who always likes to play the penis showing game. There are a lot of comparables, and everything leads up to getting to a party at the end of the film.
Are you saying that it's formulaic?
I'm not saying it's formulaic.
Are you saying, get an inspiration,
I'm not saying PCU is a paint by colors, because I think PCU, in being PG-13, actually kind of stands out as a very accessible college comedy. If you take a look at some of the films, especially Police Academy, right? I remember we watched Police Academy when it was on TV, the censored version, and you realize there's a lot in the Police Academy movies that could not fly today.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Very true.
You take a look at a movie like Ski School, and while it's funny as hell, it's not exactly necessarily kid friendly, just adult age, but kid mentality friendly. There are a lot of these movies where, there is a lot that would not cut it on broadcast television. This film actually could, maybe there's a swear word or two in there that might need to be fuddy-duddy kind of thing, but this film, there's not much wrong with this film in putting this on broadcast TV. It's a fairly accessible film. This is what surprises me. I'm surprised that this didn't do better at the box office, because it's not a restricted rating. Therefore, it's not a restricted ticket price, or at least access at the box office.
Which, could also be a benefit to open it up to younger audiences.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think that actually contributes to the longevity of this film. Right? Yeah, one or two of the jokes are very timely in that it's the era of Clinton, and they made a Republican joke in there, and of course they made the Clinton saying he didn't inhale joke kind of thing, but they're minor. The fact that it's 2023 and we're still seeing parallels from this movie to today's world, and it's something that we wouldn't mind if our kids, A, figured out how to work the VHS, but B, popped this movie in and watched it. Like, this movie stands the test of time much better than a movie or a lot of those, college and university type movies.
And one thing I wanted to point out, too, that you seem to be missing or have forgotten to mention at this point is the two main stoners. There's always...
One of which is Jake Busey.
There is always, though, a blonde and a brunette stoner group of friends.
It's little Nicky rules.
Little Nicky. Exactly. That's the point. Jay and Silent Bob, like.
Wait, are you saying that it's formulaic?
You know what? I think it might be a leader. It might be a forerunner because I was trying to think of that same pairing or visually, like having the blonde and the brunette, like stoner best friends previous to this movie. Yeah,
similar to a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern kind of thing. Like every movie seems to have that kind of out there. I mean, they're Jay and Silent Bob, basically.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that I think...
One's a blonde and one's a brunette, and it's almost cliche.
But I think this movie was a forerunner.
So let me ask you then, because of course we've drawn comparables that are, almost carbon copy to movies that came before it or came after it. So, and this is nothing against PCU, because I think this movie is a gem. But do you think that the formula of, frat boy, university, stoner, comedy type films kind of weighs on the entire genre in that it almost feels sometimes like cookie cutter and just, change the name of the characters and the setting. It's the same film.
No, because this film was unique in that, again, it had that PC angle, right? Mm-hmm. It had the different groups, and just the fact that the main character was Chris Young was able to piss off everybody equally and without intention, right? Like he was literally just going about his day at this new school he was visiting and managed to, he did take part in throwing 100 pounds of meat. Well, it had to be more than that.
Oh, yeah. There were about $200 of ground chuck that went out that window, at least, in 1994 dollars even.
Right? And, having the steak in his pocket, that was kind of,
right.
Perfect.
But even
just pissing everybody off.
But even to that token, like that whole, different groups segregated by their own likes. I mean, even that's been done before. You saw that in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. You saw that in Mean Girls. Yeah, I mean, I get the idea of a university overrun with political correctness and how wrong that is. That is a different angle to it, in that the idea of political correctness, especially in the 90s, when you've got, the crackdown on things that are bad for our kids, and the music is bad and this is bad, and there's a lot to be said about rejecting political correctness for political correctness sake, and I think this movie definitely gets it right. The fact that at the end they're protesting the fact that they're not going to protest anymore, is just beautifully ironic.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant, actually.
Absolutely. There's a lot of smarts to this film, and I don't think it gets lost in the madcap antics of it. It's just a matter of, does this movie stand the test of time better than a lot of its brothers and sisters in the college and university madcap antic film? And I think it does. But before we get to our MVPs, the internet has spoken. Gomez from the Sleevey G podcast has actually commented on our website over at notthatbadcast.com. By the way, if you go to our website at notthatbadcast.com, if you go to the coming soon page, you will see a list of some of the movies that we are talking about coming up, and we really want to hear your comments. And there's a form for you to fill it out. So please, by all means, go to notthatbadcast.com. Take a look at some of the movies that we're going to be talking about in future episodes. let us know your thoughts. We really want to hear from you guys. So Gomez has chimed in a couple times here. One of my favorite movies. Love the cast. Love what it's about. Just unreal. One of Jeremy Piven's awesome works and Entourage. Oh man, one of my favorite actors. And then he followed up with Gutter is a tool. We're not going to protest. Yes. And then Brian Colburn from My Weekly Mixtape. And of course, both Gomez and Brian are also from Playlist Wars, chimed in with absolutely love this movie. Well, here's all you need to know. Classes, nothing before 11. Beer with your best friend. You drink a lot. Women, you're a freshman, so it's pretty much out of the question. And then you commented as well, Carrie, saying, forget Hogwarts. I'm now waiting on my acceptance letter to PCU. Can you actually ever picture a PCU type movie set in Hogwarts?
Oh my, okay, wow.
Right? Drunken wizards all over the place?
Well, that would be Hufflepuff.
Are Hufflepuff the drunks of Hogwarts? I'm now curious if that would ever work. If it doesn't even need to be Hogwarts. This is what we need. Okay, we need a madcap, antic, college, university type film set in a wizard school.
Oh, I want to see that.
Right? PCU party atmosphere in a Hogwarts type school. Please, for the love of God, somebody make this happen. And if Jeremy Piven, you are listening to this show, you need to be the one to make this happen.
Jon Favreau, you need to make this happen.
Right? Please, re-team once again, because of course, they also team together in Very Bad Things. Please, re-team once again. Join up and bring us our drunken wizard school comedy film. Needs to happen. And if this does happen, we need to be in it. We don't need speaking roles.
You don't even have to pay us. We'll show up.
Carrie can dye her hair blonde. I will dye my hair brown, and we will be your stoners. There we go.
Love it.
Okay, but it's time. It is time. So, Carrie, who is your MVP of PCU?
Oh, you're going to make me choose.
Yes, choose, but choose wisely.
Can I have a twofer?
Are we talking beer, drugs, or how are we doing this? Wait, is most valuable person politically correct?
Very Bad Things is truly my favorite movie.
Right.
Above all, above Harry Potter, above my Quentin Tarantino movies, Very Bad Things leads the charge. Mm-hmm. And the two gentlemen in this movie and in Very Bad Things, Jeremy Piven and Jon Favreau, I cannot choose between Gutter and Droz.
You know what's funny? I kept it to one. And it's Droz. It's Jeremy Piven. Honestly, he is absolutely the most quotable character in this.
I agree.
Right? You could literally have... But by the way, I'm now giving you this idea, so please go on with it. But if you go with this idea, we need a copy. The Book of Droz needs to exist. It doesn't even have to be a film. It just needs to be a book. And literally one of those books of just quotes from the wisdom of Droz about college and university.
Yeah, but Gutter was just so damn likable.
Well, Gutter couldn't write 2 words, but that's why we need the Book of Droz.
You know what though? I want to take a vacation just for a day in Gutter's mind. Just like
we may never see you again.
I'll be wandering somewhere.
This would be like you getting caught in the quantum realm and never being able to get back out.
Fascinating.
Right?
I want to go to there.
Carrie, thank you so much for going down PCU Road. Now, you, our dear listeners, you guys know the drill. If there's a film out there that you think is unfairly maligned or you think is so bad that there's nothing good that we can say about it, let us know on Twitter at NotThatBadCast or on our website at NotThatBadCast.com. We will watch it, we will dissect it, and we will find the good things to say because we are looking for those A grades in B movies. Until next time, I'm Jay, she's Carrie. scary. You're awesome, and that means you too, Jeremy Piven. Until next time, everyone, take care.
Hey folks, Stefan Shirazi and Renee Richardson here from the Metallica Report.
And we are proud members of the Pantheon podcast family, where the best of music and podcasts unite.
We've got something pretty cool for you. We're giving away an exclusive Metallica merch package worth over $250.
That's a whole lot of Scary Guys, Skulls, M72, and other sought-after Metallica swag. And we've made it easy for you to win. Follow and share the Metallica Report, and you're in the game. Go to pantheonpodcast.com/Metallica, enter your email, and hit that button to be entered to win.
And just like that, you're eligible for our monthly exclusive Metallica merch package.
And guess what, rockers? You can enter every month, so just do it. And while we love our global brothers and sisters, the lawyers won't let us ship outside the U.S.